Carolyn Bazzo and her sister Monty Sue Bradbury grew up idolizing their mother, Frenchie, for her intelligence and beauty.
My mother was a wonderful, loving mother. She worked so hard all of our childhood, yet she always put her children first, even though she had to work.
For their mother's 80th birthday, Carolyn and her sister wanted to do something extra special. Find the perfect gift. Something that would touch their mother's heart. They realized that could only be one thing. A copy of her all-time favorite book, the Rosary.
For my mother's 80th birthday, I thought it would be fun to really make an effort to find the book.
The Rosary was an old-fashioned romance that swept Frenchie off her feet when she was just a teenager.
It was a beautiful love story. It had pain, but it had redemption in the end.
When she was 23, Frenchie discovered that her aunt, Ruth Lee Simmons, had a copy of the book. She begged her for it, but Aunt Ruth said no.
Aunt Ruth was just very eccentric and did not really want to give the book up.
As the years passed, Frenchie never forgot about her favorite love story. Over and over, she asked Aunt Ruth for her copy of the book, but the answer was always the same.
I don't know why she didn't give me that book. Because she could have bought 1,000 of them. But I asked her for it again, and she said no, she might have a use for it. So she didn't give it to me.
By the time her Aunt Ruth passed away in 1995, it looked like Frenchie was going to have to live without that copy of the cherished love story.
When Aunt Ruth died, I remember Mother saying, of all the things that belonged to Aunt Ruth, the only thing I would have loved to have had was that book, The Rosary.
With that in mind, Carolyn knew finding a copy of The Rosary was the perfect gift. So she began her search, but the book was long out of print.
I went to used bookstores, I went to flea markets, garage sales. I just made an effort to look for the book when I was out.
Just when it seemed Carolyn's search for The Rosary would be for naught, she turned to today's technology for a helping hand. She got on the internet to do a search.
I entered the name, The Rosary, and then bingo, there it was. It just popped up. On one website I went to, there were about 12 copies available in all price ranges and all conditions. And since I'd never bought anything from the internet before, I was, wow. So I chose a middle-of-the-range one that was $8.
When the book arrived on Carolyn's doorstep a few days later, she was more certain than ever that it was the perfect gift. She couldn't wait for the big day. 2 weeks later, Frenchie's big birthday finally arrived. The Ballard family gathered, armed with their special gift.
I just missed one.
We were there when Carolyn, Monty Sue, and Jimmy presented their mother with the treasured memento from her childhood.
Oh, I don't believe this.
Well, you're not going to believe it even more.
Frenchie was truly touched, but this wasn't just any copy of the book. Incredibly, out of the dozens available, Carolyn had managed to pick the very copy of the Rosary that had once belonged to Aunt Ruth. The exact same one Frenchie had held in her hands decades earlier.
This is her signature.
Yes, it is.
Yeah, I asked her for it a long time ago.
An improbable odyssey had taken the book from the deep south to a Nevada bookseller, then back to the family that had originally owned it.
It just made our hearts feel wonderful to know that we've been able to do something for her that she wasn't doing for herself.
We were able to give her something that was so special to her to make her happy. It was just a tiny thing, but it meant a lot to her.
I saw Aunt Ruth's name in there in her handwriting. I was just numb and so thankful that it has turned up something that I had really cherished over the years. I believe that that book has come full circle.